Okay, so I'm Kyle Davis, and this is my Far Cry level for our project that we were doing currently. Uh, Overall, it's pretty cool so far what I have. It is a rundown of a search, destroy, and then extract mission. The AI has been placed, and these blue volumes are their control volumes for what their behavior is, along with everything that's going on in the level. But let's just get in with playing it, and I'll talk about it as I play through. So first off, we end up with a few different versions that we can go through. The default is you get a few things just in case, and this is all about picking up and finding things to survive. That was the main concept of the level. We also have a melee version, a stealth version, and a raid version. This is more of a dev testing one that I'm going to take out at the end, but I'm going to go through as Assault.
Bounty hunt.
This is the basic that you get as you're going through, and as we can see, we start in our little start area here off to the side so we can get a little bit of an idea of where everything is and what's going on. Everyone does interact, as you can see. They are now searching for me as I do stuff like that. So the AI does have all of its behavior as it goes through. And now into actually playing the level. The red dots are the targets we currently have. So this is all about getting to those people and going through. I did a lot of set testing and working to make sure that certain things were right. As you can see, you see a little bit of the area as you start going through, and then it eventually opens up into this bigger area that you can see. I placed AI in some areas where they would be able to move around and still feel like they had some of their own version of where they're going and what they're doing. And you can either pick up enemies' weapons, or if you want to go for more quality things, you'll try to wait to find stuff around in the area, because that stuff is actually far more quality than the stuff you get. But if you just want to go for a nice Rambo playstyle, you can do that as well. Now they've been alerted to the body, so they're gonna start looking for where I am. Let's try to get a little bit more of a better vantage point and see what's going on here. Oh, and look, found a little weapon up here. Now, we have a guy that's searching for us over on the side. Ah. Just get him out of the way. And you can see we have one of our targets on the open, so let's just take care of some of them. Now note, I will run out of ammo here soon, so that is definitely something to keep in mind for what we plan on doing here. As you can see, they're starting to train in on where I am. So I'm going to want to start just making sure I move on, because we're going to start getting found out here. Now, some of the stuff is in specific areas, and certain enemies favor certain areas here. if we look around for certain things, you'll notice I had a lot more melee guys over at the front in this little junkyard area where it's tighter corridors. If you just run in, it'll be a lot more of a challenge to get them. But you can't just snipe everyone out at the beginning of the level. You have to actually go through and go into this bottom area that we'll eventually get to soon. And that's where the final, most difficult target you have to kill is. So it's a little bit of a gradual curve of letting you ease into where you want to go and what you want to do. But also still try to take on the enemies how you want. He's seen us. I don't know if that will alert everyone, but we'll have to start. Yep. Now they are alerted. So let's run in here, because this is where we're supposed to go. I'm just going to make sure I have everything I need here. And we're going to search around a little bit for some stuff. We have a target that we left outside here, so we might want to take him down quick before we move on. Alright. Now if we go downstairs, this is the main focus point. And unfortunately, they're alerted to me down here, which is not very desirable because these enemies are far more difficult. So once we get to the bottom here, you'll get to see what I'm talking about. Now because we found that nice gun, we'll have a far easier time with our main target right here.
I can't see him! Nobody likes you! Bring your hammer, let's fight! You're a traitor, little man!
Now, unfortunately, we didn't get to see the rest of the area, so I'm just going to go around and explore as we go to show off some of the other stuff that is in this area. So, all of this was set designed. We have a bunch of different cover areas and everything. All of this, the enemies actually use as cover as well, which is nice. So, all of that has been coded in. And then I have some winding areas for you to go around to fight as you go. But one of the interesting things that I wanted to really accentuate was player choice. So around I have left weapons like this sniper rifle, but there's also other weapons such as we have this LMG over in the corner. And then we have a shotgun up top over in that big wooden building. I have an SMG over on the opposite side if you wanted to try to take it from the other side. I have another weapon stationed up top by our sniper tower. And I believe I have a shotgun as well. But once you have gotten through all of the enemies, you make your way this way over to the extraction point. But before we go, we have our enemy over here. So we have a weapon up over here. You can wind your way up around the back area here using stealth through the grass. You can go through this building over here. If you want for a more loud approach, all of these do explode, and there are other things that are allowed to happen from this. Fires catch and can deal damage. There's a few other areas for cover for enemies and you. I tried to allow for as many different playstyles through this as possible, without making it feel like this was too linear. And then once we get to the end, it doesn't do it in this build because it is not published, but once you get to this area, you have eliminated all the targets, you have completed, and then you can either leave or restart. Now, if we take a look into what actually went into making this area, and some of the stuff that goes on, we have animation points set up for all of our areas in these two big volumes up top here, and these dictate what the AI wants to generally do. Because if we go into our basic dev mode here, we'll see our characters start wanting to wander around, and they'll try to perform actions and run around for where they want to go. So it gives it a little bit of randomness, but at the same time, they will tend towards the animation points. So we do get some AI wandering as we want, which is nice. Also, we have grass set up around areas to allow for stealth if you want to infiltrate quietly and only take out the specific enemies. Everything is bounding boxed for this area, so when you look from up top, this is our general curve of where you're allowed to be for the mission, and then once you go out of that area, you get to kill volumes, which reinforce stay in this area, or you won't be able to finish your mission because there's nothing out there, and we want to de-incentivize the player as much as possible from going to areas that break our game. Once we start getting back into the stuff that's here, though, I've set up sound effects and a bunch of other stuff for certain areas and things. When you get close to the electric stuff, it actually goes. And then these, you can hear a little clinking. All of that correlates to specific stuff to allow for audio cues for the player. This first guard tower is a little bit of an incentivize because he does not actually look anywhere else except where he looks now. So for the player, it's very obvious, hey, this is our first enemy, give us a little bit of a ease into what the mechanics are and what is expected of them, so they can either kill him or try to stealth around into the base. Both are possible. We have some extra areas that incentivize exploration, and there are some goodies littered around in the form of loot and other ammo packs. Along with that, it was just basically try to get the flow down for this. So you have the main route, which is going up from your spawn, going straight through into bunker, and then coming back out and then going over. But if you want to go for another route, you can go around the edge and try to find a better point of entry, because this is more fortified than this area over here and this area over here. So you only have to deal with one enemy on this side, and this enemy you have to deal with snipers, but they're up high and they're not going to be looking down low underneath them very much. So you can get the drop on them, get a target quick, and then reassess and see what's going on through the rest of the area. When we get down into the bottom, it's supposed to be more of a, since you're already halfway through your mission, this is either where it gets harder or easier, depending on what happens, because if you alert everyone, these guys will be alerted, and they are not very easy. This main character down here, unless you headshot him with a very powerful weapon, he takes far more bullets than he should for any realistic character, and that was scaled basically from the default game. So people who know the character understand the story for why he is so tough. and why he is such a prominent person in this target elimination. And then we have some of our other characters roaming around for our targets and where they are, and also it's prominent that I point out the cover that all of these have, because this adds another addition of tacticality for the enemies, is that all of these yellow pieces here are cover that the enemy can take and will use very effectively, trying to pinpoint where you are. The AI in this game for stealth is actually much harder than in some of the other games, just because of them wanting to focus more on action than on stealth in this one. So most of the actual impact from this makes it harder for the stealth to be easy. So there's that. Otherwise, this is what I have come up with, and this is how it's looking.